Hey Meeple people, and on today's vlog, we're going to be playing Kabuto Sumo by BoardGameTables.com. Let's get into it!
It's springtime in Japan, and the rhinoceros beetles have returned from their travels. Now, out in the wild, you can find them butting heads to show off their wrestling skills and impress their insect friends. This is the origin of the phenomenal World Insect Wrestling Championship. In Kabuto Sumo, you are one of the contending beetles, battling for supremacy in the ring and your place in the pantheon of legendary wrestlers.
Alright Meeple people, so we're going to get into Kabuto Sumo, and Sarah's going to go ahead and do a quick overview of the gameplay so you know what's kind of going on. Sarah?
Hi. So this is Kabuto Sumo. It is a sumo wrestling game of bugs. It can be played as a 2, 3, or 4-player game. We're going to be playing it as a 2-player game, obviously, and that's basically just 1v1. You can also play as a 3-way head-to-head sort of battle, or you can play it as a 4-player game in 2 teams of 2. But in the 2-player game, the goal is for one of us to knock off the other from this sort of tree stump on which the sumo is happening. So what's going to happen each turn of the game is players are going to take this sort of like ramp piece and they're going to place it anywhere along the outside edge of the board. Maybe I want to put mine here. They're going to push it all the way up to the edge of the board so that it's flush with the tree stump, and then they're going to select any piece from their supply and they're going to put that onto the sort of ramp and they're going to push. And what they're trying to do is knock this player off the board, but they're also trying to knock other pieces off the edge of the board, because the pieces that are knocked off the board on your turn are the ammo that you get to use in future turns. And specifically in a 2-player game, if you ever run out of ammo, you sort of forfeit the fight. So I'm going to put this ramp right here, and then I'm going to push this piece onto the board. Let's move this a little bit this way. I'm going to push here. And I push and push and push until this piece is all the way on the stump. Then any pieces that have fallen off the game board are mine to collect. And since Nick is still on the board, then he gets to take a turn. And he'll do the same thing on his turn. He'll put the little ramp anywhere he wants to, and he'll push one of his pieces onto the board. And we'll just play back and forth until one player is knocked off the board, or until a player has no pieces left to play with. We are also playing I think it's called Senior League, right, Nick?
Yes.
We're also playing Senior League, which means that each one of us has sort of a unique ability that we can do throughout the game. I have 2 abilities. I have Feigning Death. So at the beginning of my turn, if my wrestler piece is anywhere on the edge of the board, then I can take this piece from the supply and I can add it to my inventory, which means that it's a piece that I can then use to try to push onto the board. Or I have the Bang Bang ability. I can pay, if I have one of these big wooden discs in my supply, I have to give it to my opponent, but if I do that, then at the end of my turn, I can push another piece. So I get sort of 2 turns instead of just 1. So on my turn, I can do one or both of these or neither of these things, should I choose. But I'm going to push a piece onto the board. As long as Nick is still on the board, then he'll get a turn. And we'll just go back and forth until, like I said, one of us is knocked off the tree stump, or until one of us runs out of pieces. Should we give it a try?
Yes, let's do it. Let's go ahead and sumo with beetles, or I guess bugs.
Mine is a desert ironclad beetle named Cactus Jack.
And I am some kind of centipede, the composter. Yeah, I'm a giant centipede.
The sort of like little flavor text on mine says, this beetle has a peculiar defense mechanism where it will feign being dead until it can safely escape from the predator. And to be honest with you, I think that is accurate to real life. I think there is a desert ironclad beetle and it is capable of doing that. So it's kind of cool that they have some realism tied into the unique player powers of each individual insect.
All right, well, let's get into it. We'll see you guys in a sec. Hello, Meeple people, and we are at the midway point of this game, and it is a doozy. Sarah's pushing me, I'm pushing her, she's getting some nice pieces for her arsenal. her personal inventory. Likewise, I am also. So yeah, let's go ahead to the board and then see what Sarah has to say about what's going on so far in Kabuto Sumo. This is what's going on. This is what it looks like so far, and
we haven't really moved that much off center based on what you can see now, but we have been moving around quite a bit. We just happen to like push a little bit one way and then push a little bit back, and so we have moved around pretty extensively.
We've definitely been pushing us, focusing that we don't fall off.
Yeah. I have 2 different special abilities. One of them would require me to pay my opponent one of these big brown discs right here. The other would require that my piece would be on the edge of the board at the start of my turn. I have not been willing to pay a brown piece or been on the edge of the board at the start of my turn, so I haven't used either of my special abilities yet. Nick, though, you've used yours a couple of times. You want to tell us about that?
So my special ability is giving up one of these little green guys, but I can give up to 5 of those little green guys to put as many of these in a continuous like line all together, because there's 5 of these in a row. And I'll go ahead and show you a little bit about what it looks like on the board that I've used so far.
So he would have to pay me the green pieces that he gives up, but for as many of those green pieces as he gives up, he could put that number of red pieces on the board, kind of like this right here, and then use that to sort of push into the board as well. And I think you've done that twice?
Yes, I've done it twice, and one of my other ones went back. When they fall off, when your special pieces fall off, they go back to the general supply. All right, anything else? What do you got? Any Midway thoughts?
Not yet. I'm definitely feeling like that, like sumo wrestling sort of feel, you know, we're like locked in this like epic wrestling battle sort of thing, you know, trying to push each other back and forth across the board. And it's definitely been a fight. It's gone back and forth, but here's hoping.
So we're going to get back into it, but also we want to mention the boardgametables.com did provide this while we were at Gen Con. They went ahead and gave a review copy. So thanks for that, boardgametables.com. Go ahead and check them out. They make some good tables. Actually, this is the table. Yeah, this table right here is the one.
From
yeah.
boardgametables.com, and I love it. It's not sponsored. This isn't like, there's no incentivization here for me to say this other than that it's just the truth. I love our boardgametables.com table. I don't remember. I think it's a Jasper, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So it's a Jasper. It can comfortably seat 4 to 6-ish people. It's got like the inset, and it's just such a nice table. It really elevates like gaming, you know. There's like stuff doesn't fall if you're like rolling dice and stuff like that. It all stays within like this well here. It's just a really nice table. It's well constructed. It was I feel like it was inexpensive for a board game table. They can really range pretty drastically, but we paid I think $700 for this, right?
Yes.
Now that was a couple of years ago, but we did pay only $700 for a nice gaming table, and it's the crown jewel in our game room, I think.
Yeah, we should have gotten their chairs. We got some other chairs, and they really aren't lasting. And it's not like we even, I don't know, we're not, banging them or, being too crazy with them, but they're just not lasting as long. We thought they would work, but they're not really working that well. So
we do need new chairs for it. But the table itself, which is the only piece of furniture we bought from the website, was excellent. Highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a sort of economic option for a board game table. They're great. Shall we get back to the game? And I'm gonna push you off this log.
As if my centipede is gonna go ahead and thrust you off and throw his legs at you. Apparently, that's what I've been doing.
Terrifying. Let's see what happens.
Welcome back, people, and ding, 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 ding. I am the winner by submission, which means Sarah ran out of pieces and she could not push. But if it lasted any more turns, I would have been out of a submission because I also played my last piece, but since she was the first player out, then I win by, I guess, default, which is kind of anticlimactic at
Especially
this
after
game.
like 25 minutes of playing. We've been playing this game for a little while. We just kept pushing back and forth, and yeah, this is a little bit anticlimactic. But Nick wins.
Woot woot.
Winner, winner, beetle dinner.
Beetle. I don't know if my guy does that. So this game is interesting. It's quick. It's easy. Well, quick. It's usually quick. But it's pretty simple. You're just pushing pieces on. You're using your special moves when you need to, and I like it. I like the different pieces that we got in All Star Pack when they went ahead and gave us a review copy at Gen Con, and it has some interesting characters. My character that I'm using is from the All Star Pack. Sarah's is from the original, but yeah, she
I
had.
think even
Yeah,
without the All Star Pack, there's a lot of characters that have unique pieces, and it really changes up the game. Like my unique piece was this like cactus shaped piece, and it was interesting. At one point, I actually used it to like push a piece across the board, and I had like this big length that I could do that with. But then another time, I used it to sort of like sweep pieces off the board so I could get a lot of pieces. And it was neat.
so it's like twofold.
Exactly, and it was neat to have a unique piece that only I could use. But there's a bunch of these in the game. So depending on which,
has their own unique piece.
yeah, depending on which character you play, you get a different piece, and then they function differently just based on their shape.
And how you can get them.
Yeah, and how you actually gain access to them as you play and stuff like that. So I think just having those unique player pieces for each character is a really interesting way to keep the game, interesting and fresh, and replayable.
Yeah, I just thought this one was quick, like you said, Sarah, replayable because of the different characters that you could play. I'd be interested to see if they made more characters for this, but I don't really. I mean, they could essentially. They could make a lot more players or a lot more different characters and different unique pieces. But then they're gonna have to make a bigger box because we're full now. No more pieces, please. And unless there's a new box containing all this madness, but yeah, I like this one. This one was a nice, unique dexterity kind of ish one with some strategy because there were some times you didn't know where these the pieces would be taking because mostly everything is circular, all the like supply pieces. So when you push them out, some of them you'd go one way, but then as you push out, all of a sudden they take this weird turn, and sometimes that would help, and sometimes it would just be like, well, nothing came off the board, so I'm one step closer of being to losing by submission. So it was always interesting to see, like, okay, you have this plan, it got pushed this way, but then you start pushing in that direction, and everything just starts moving. You're just like, ah.
It's very reminiscent of the carnival coin pusher games, if you ever played those. Where you like put your little coin in the slot and it rolls down the track, and then it lands like on the tray with all the other coins, and then something comes along and pushes all of the coins, and your little coin scooches up to meet all the rest, and then hopefully like pushes coins off the edge, and you get those coins too, right? So it's very similar to that. It's got a very similar feel to that coin pusher arcade game or carnival game. It's very low pressure because you're not actually spending money to play, right? But it functions in a really similar way. That sort of push your luck feel that you get with that coin pusher carnival game, it feels really, really similar to this game here, but on like a tabletop experience where you don't have to spend any money or stand at one of those machines, and you play this nice thematic version of a tabletop game instead.
I definitely think this is one of those games that you are playing with younger kids, or you are playing with someone that doesn't really do board games and you want to play something with them and they want to play maybe a game with you, but they don't want to be like something super complicated. And I feel like the boardgametables.com makes games to where they are interesting, easy to learn, easy to play, and that they just get people to the table.
I feel like they're quite unique too. The ones that we've played from boardgametables.com, they are unique games that I don't feel like I've played many other games similar to these types of games. Sure, there's like similar aspect, right? There's like dexterity and push your luck in this game, but this particular method of play or whatever feels fresh and new as a tabletop experience. And I think that they're good at doing that with their games. Some of their other games include On Tour, which is a really popular roll and write from a few years back, and Mountain Goats, which we'll have another video for that up on the channel sometime this week. Maybe?
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, that was Kabuto Sumo from theboardgametables.com. We really enjoyed it, and we think if you like filler games and less like kind of pressure, a little a dexterity game that isn't too heavy on the dexterity heavy, I think this is a good one for that. But yeah, we hope you all enjoyed this vlog. Any last words, Sarah?
No, I think that covers it.
All right, well we'll catch y'all next time. Toodles!